It's very straightforward, Mr. Brentwood. Keep my daughter safe, and the money is yours."
Payne leaned sideways and slid open a drawer, procuring a carved wooden box with brass hinges. From his waistcoat pocket, he fished out a tiny key.
"Though I suppose you should like an advance, eh?"
"May I ask a few questions?" Not that he'd turned down the payment. Jenny's life hung in the balance without it, and perhaps even with it. Mr. Payne set the key in the box's lock. A click later, he lifted the lid.
"Of course."
Nicholas drew in a breath, girding up for a salvo technique he'd mastered long ago.
"I gather you are a merchant, hence the travel and the import-export mentioned by your housekeeper."
"I am."
"Should the need arise, how do I reach you?"
"You don't."
"Then are there other relations I may contact?"
"None."
"Yet you fear for Miss Payne's safety."
"I do."
"Why?"
That stopped the man, but only for the briefest of moments. A pause easily missed, one Nicholas had learned to listen for in the voices of swindlers and cons. Payne scowled, the effect lightened by the ridiculous teeth peeking through his lips.
"You can imagine, Brentwood, that a man in my position garners many enemies. Blood-sucking enemies, no less. Emily is my only heir, hence my one vulnerability." "What exactly is your position, Mr. Payne?"
The man slammed the box's lid shut with one hand and held out a banknote with the other.
"Commerce, Brentwood. The world's wheels turn on the hub of commerce, of which I am the center, leastwise in the shipping industry. Now then, here's your advance."
Nicholas leaned forward and pinched the paper between thumb and forefinger, expecting the man's grip to lessen. It tightened.
"One more thing. There's been a slight change of plans. I expect you to set up quarters here. Now, my ship sails by day's end."
A nerve on the side of his neck jumped. He'd have no time to dash over to the Crown and Horn to let Jenny know of his whereabouts. If she should need him, no one would know where to find him, unless he paid a courier to deliver a message. He lifted his gaze to meet Payne's.
"Then a change in remuneration should be in order as well, I think."
The man frowned, yet the banknote loosened. He pocketed the sum as Payne withdrew another note.
"Very shrewd, Brentwood. I see why Ford's runners have earned such a reputation."
Runner? Heat burned a trail up Nicholas's spine and lodged at the base of his skull. The man might as well have questioned his parentage. He snatched the added check from the man's pudgy fingers, then rose and skewered him with a glance.
"I shall give you the benefit of the doubt this time, Mr. Payne, for perhaps you are not aware that runner is a derogatory term, one I don't take kindly to being associated with. I am, in your own words, one of Bow Street's finest, not an errand boy or Ford's lackey. I am a detective, sir, an investigator, a sleuth, the kind of man who will stop at nothing to hunt down a criminal and bring him to justice at the end of a rope. Now you are educated. See that it doesn't happen again." "Well, I—"
Payne's Adam's apple bobbed up and down, his brows ending where his white hairline began.
"Of course."
He busied himself by tucking away the box, then stepped to a velvet cord on the wall and tugged it. Pocketing the rest of the payment, Nicholas allowed his blood to cool. It had been a hard battle to become a man of integrity, a fight he'd not see belittled by donning a pejorative title. "Aye, sir?" The housekeeper's head peeked through the door.
"Summon Miss Emily straight away, Mrs. Hunt."
Payne resumed his seat behind the desk. Nicholas preferred to remain standing and meet the little heiress with the advantage of height.
"I am sorry, but she has gone out with Miss Mary. Will that be all, sir?"
Color started rising slowly, like mercury up a thermometer, slipping over Payne's ears, diffusing across his cheeks, then inching up his nose. Judging by the rapid spread, his head might pop at any moment, and those teeth would be deadly projectiles. Nicholas retreated a step.
"The devil you say! I specifically forbade her."
Payne sputtered an oath.
"Never mind, Mrs. Hunt. That will be all."
As soon as the door shut, Payne retrieved his safe box yet again. He removed a fistful of assorted notes and held them out.
"Take it, Brentwood."
Nicholas narrowed his eyes. "You've provided a sufficient advance.
What is this for?"
A muscle jumped near the hinge of Payne's jaw before he ground out,
"Hazard pay, for indeed Emily is hazardous on more levels than one."